You are now tuning in to Lex and RDDC broadcast station, serving up on the double doses for us all.
Welcome back to the Real Double Dose channel. This is your host, Lex, coming to you straight from the heart where the talk is real and the vibe is always live. Yes, dealing and messing and having a good time and connecting with the Real Double Dose channel. So I just want to welcome all of you who are new and all of our wonderful RDDC families who have been with us along this wonderful journey for these I think almost 4 years, if I'm not wrong, but we're growing and steadily moving. For any show requests, feedback, or anything under the sun, as we always say, you can reach us at Real Double Dose channel at yandex.com. That's YANDEX.com. And that will be Tony or Angela or one of our wonderful team to make sure you're good to go. I mean, everything's been a little bit more slower now since we've been trying to revamp everything else on the response time, but we will see you and we will get with you immediately. And as well as I can say this officially now, realdoubledosechannel.com. That's realdoubledosechannel.com. And you can check out the guest experts, inserts, and different goodies and so much more, and free book downloads at realdoubledosechannel.blogspot.com. Now that will be available at realdoubledosechannel.com, but it's going to be more of an extension link over to the wonderful elements of what we have gathered for and more we were speaking about for some time now, and that is S&M Elevation. Yes, that's spiritandmindelevation.com. One whole word slapped together with the .com. That's spirit and mind. That's ANDMIND elevation.com. Spirit, you know how it's spelled. So if not, you can Google it, but you can check us out also on TuneIn, Stitcher Radio, Spreaker.com, Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, SoundCloud, Deezer, Podcast Chaser, so much more. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. Giovanni and so many other websites and platforms that are amazing out there syndicating everything that's going on. But overall, I wanted to give you that and some goodies within. Now, I hope you're all doing well for this 2021 and beyond, because we're going nothing but all the way up, like we always say, and this is going to be beyond the year, beyond everything. And all those who are going through loss of loved ones from COVID or going through it yourself, blessings and peace and love, shout out to you and all that you're going through, as well as cultural diversities and so much more. But we will be coming into a whole new moon, and a new phase for this whole year coming up. So Angela has also let me know that she has some wonderful guests coming on as well, and some people who have signed up for our little low-key beta strategy sessions, and they're coming soon to the Spirit and Mind Elevation. Once again, I will say it's there. I mean, we see everything going on in the back. We have not published it to be launched to the public yet because we're putting in the extra little ties and bow ties to it, and we'll have some displays going on and the stuff that comes along with that for the wonderful courses or master classes and the different one-on-ones that you want to do with our Zoom Nirvana soirees. I'll just call it that. So I just wanted to give you that little teeny bit of an update in the infrastructure. But this is going to be something that should have came out a long time ago. And that is hashtag be careful. Dun dun dun. You're probably wondering, Lex, what's going on? Well, let's dive into the double doses of life a little bit more, shall we? Now, more people will be able to be a part of this. You might see an ad campaign going up. Some shout outs going up, or some extended hands for those to be able to participate. And if you're willing to participate in some of the things you have to, be a little bit more cautious about or careful, let us know at that Real Double Dose channel at yandex.com. And you can be a part of that too. And you will not want to miss the exclusivities that come along with that. But when I say hashtag be careful, I mean exactly that. So let's take a page from my book first before we get into the page of all the goodies that are out there. Being careful has a lot of things that come with it. A lot of aspects and avenues and things that we never thought to happen. And if I'm wrong, let me know. But I feel very right about this. I had to pause before we got into this because sometimes you just need a moment to step back and say, man, what is really, really good? And I say be careful of everything, right? So hashtag be careful means when you're going into 2021 and beyond, it's not just for this year. I know a lot of people hear replays of 2019 and 2018, whatever year it is. It just happens to be the year that you're hearing it freshly. Just remember that the time keeps going on and on until it's our last time to have it go on and on. Be careful of what you put in your body. Be careful of who you let around your body. Be careful of the thoughts that you carry, and be careful and mindful of the things that carry on with your thoughts. So I say that to just know, and I'm taking another page, like I said before, from my book, is through the things that I've been through in just 2020 alone. Not just burying my sister and my brother, not seeing my dad pass away, my 2 uncles and my auntie in the last 3 years, 5 or 7 funerals, and probably a lot more in between. A lot of my friends that got sick from COVID, some made it, some didn't. God rest their souls and all those who are dealing with the hurt. But we know the extension of life goes beyond here. We miss them in the physical, but spiritually and emotionally and mentally, those memories are there, the feelings are there, and spiritually you can feel the essence of their remnants around us. And eventually we will meet them, because life is not forever in the flesh. But what I will say is I had to be careful, and be careful what we entertain. See, entertain, keep you entertained, keep you focused on the distraction. Because I notice a lot of times, all of us, especially me, I know I'm guilty of it, but for me, it's more of a learning curve to take that experience, now over the last several years, to rehash it and give it back to a point to where I'm hoping that it is good. It's a disappointment in the perspective itself. Not that I actually want it to unfold all the way. I'm just kind of seeing it. You can almost feel it when you're connected to your innate gifts and the things going on. You can almost see things stopping and crashing before they even started. But yet you go on the path just to say, well, let me just go. Let me go beyond the intuition. Let me entertain something that I already know needs dismissal. But for some reason, that human flesh part of us says, why not? Just for a minute. So when people come across that path, they're not careful of what's going on with you. See, the problem of an indigo or a starseed child or an empath deeply rooted, which I know I am, on the highest levels that there could be, that's just not self-proclaiming. That just is what it is by the seer and the prophetess of birthright. No pompousness needed for truth. No arrogance needed for what you know. But it gets to a point of where you just start kicking yourself in the butt more for why are you delaying yourself with entertaining something that doesn't need to be delayed. Now, some people will say, well, maybe you were just lonely for the moment, Lex. Maybe you just need a friend. This is with females and males. Okay, this is for overall aspects of things. Even if for me, I'm taking my niece off for ice cream, knowing that it's going to turn out to her throwing it away and saying she wants to go home. She's tired. She wants to play on her iPad. It could be the same thing of entertaining the thought of something. So it doesn't have to just relate to relationships themselves. It doesn't have to just be an intimate situation or a person you've known forever or slightly. But what I will say is I've been understanding how to be careful with things. You have to be careful with your time. That's one thing I had to understand. No matter if I'm saying I'm learning it or not, be careful with how long you entertain something for. Be careful with the things that you want to put in your body. I.e. example, I had a really bad nueces, okay, and for my Espanol reaction. And literally I had, I don't know if it was pecans, walnuts, but I know it was probably a combination of both. Now, usually I can get away with it, especially since, on our res in the land that we have down south, there's pecan trees, plum trees, fig trees, and we still have that land. But, when you're little, things don't really come out, all the way, at least back then, over 3 decades ago, to have allergic reactions. But I'll put it that way for that perspective. My mom made one of her decadent, beautiful desserts that me and my oldest brother always crave and beg her to make. From the firstborn to the lastborn. And he didn't stomach it too well because it was a lot of different, a lot more nuts. Like we always complain, you don't put enough walnuts and pecans and stuff. So I guess this time she showed us and she definitely added at least a pound or 2. I don't know. But it was so good. I mean, it was the best thing I've ever had. But in the reaction of that, what had happened? My whole body reacted. My skin started getting flushed. Had rash on, feeling on my elbows and stuff like that. My throat started feeling swollen. My mouth went numb. My throat went numb. I couldn't swallow. My breathing changed. And then my mouth, basically my gums turned from pink to super, super dark chocolate. That's what I will say. And I'm like, whoa. I mean, it looked like paint. So I'm sitting here like, wow. And it's just about maybe 80% out of my system now. Yeah, it was insane. And I'm quite sure a lot of us have these things. So taking a page from that book. Now, even though I had pre-warnings, right? The pre-symptoms of understanding what to be careful of, knowing that I shouldn't have more than a few bites here and there between days, I literally sat there getting my holiday cheer on, eating excessively this wonderful Alabama style dessert, knowing that, man, I feel the irritation happening as I'm eating it, but I pushed past it, knowing I had never put that much in my system at one time, anything. And I could have, and thank you to the creator of all things, I could have had a horrible reaction and been to the hospital. Other reaction. I had a very bad allergic reaction. For any of those of you who do that, please make sure you seek medical attention. I will say, but for me, I just brushed it off. I was like, no, but I had never went that far. Now that I know, I would have to go to the hospital now that I'm aware of it. But at the same time, it was to the point where something bad could have happened. But yet I was like, I was willing to take that risk and entertain the fact that I should eat all this wonderful goodies and just enjoy myself, knowing what the little agitations and pre-warning signs were. See, I wasn't careful of that. And because of that, I had a horrible adverse reaction and side effect. And I'm definitely sure it affected a lot more other areas, but it's a little too exclusive to talk about on here. So we must be careful of the things that we entertain. Friendships I've entertained again. Different ones, even business friendships that was supposed to be a brotherhood and sisterhoods that didn't work out, all that stuff. I felt the warning signs, but I was like, you know what? Life's too short. Let's see where it goes. In the moment, we're not really thinking about what to be careful about because we're thinking, oh man, let's just try it. Like, we're just overthinking it. But you know already you're not. You know already what your instincts and intuition is telling you. And some of us are overthinkers. So we think, well, maybe we're overthinking this. Maybe it's our intuition trying to chill and we're just pushing it forward. But distinctively, just for the fact that the red flag, blue flag, green flag, whatever flag color it is, was mounted, lets you know, be careful. Because what you might not be careful of might be the last thing you could ever be careful for. And what I mean by that is people are not careful of a situation when they say, hey, just true crime documentaries, whatever it is, where people say, I know I shouldn't go meet my ex out of town, but I love them. Let me see if I can mend it. And therefore we have a documentary about why they didn't make it back home. They weren't cautious and careful of it. See, our love will bring us on a journey of trust and so much emotion to where we'll over exceed that from what the other person is not really careful of, careless of, and doesn't really give too much about what they're careful about. Otherwise, they wouldn't go from person to person hurting each other. They would know their direction. They would understand what's going on with themselves and or whatever age bracket or gender you're talking about. So that's what I will say on that hashtag be careful, because at the end of the day, if you're not, then who is? I think I've said this before, but at the same time, like Angela will say, oh, I feel like sitting back and watching a movie, which I need to watch The Christmas Story and my Twilight again. Oh, and The Best Man too. I gotta watch some of that. But at the same time, she'll sit back and say, well, I think she had talked to Susan. We love you, Susan Zumo. You're amazing if you're listening to this. And hopefully we'll have you back on soon, because I love, all our wonderful guest experts, and definitely we love Susan Zumo. But she was saying something about the excessiveness of things. I don't know if Angela was speaking to her about their private conversation about how much she likes to have ice cream, but the excessiveness of Haagen-Dazs or, Blue Bunny, whatever she wants to eat. She has to be careful with that. She has lactose issues, dairy poisoning issues. The same thing I found out that I had not too long ago, to where we're just on the cusp. Like, you're always on the cusp of doing something that is not beneficial. You have to be careful of everything that we do. It's not to say to live in fear and walk on eggshells, or to feel like, oh my gosh, I have to be careful. I'm going down Highway 14, so I have to be careful when I get off the bridge. Yeah, you should. But it's not to be to the point where everything in your life is just escaped. We should all be able to live full and die empty. Right? And I know you've heard of so many other ways going out there, but Les Brown will say it the best that I know. And it is live full and die empty. Because if you're living full, you're giving all that you have to give away. So when you are taken away from this earth, you can go peacefully, even more so. Because even if you're in a car and you're thinking at this very moment, Lord, I know my life is over. I know it's about to go home. Maybe you'll save me, maybe you won't. But I know that I did the best that I could with my hashtag Be Carefuls because I decided to spend my time in the right way. I decided to give my love to those who are deserving and needing of it. Everyone needs a little bit more cautionary tales of themselves and the things going on. Everyone needs to have these things in the moment. But if you're not understanding of what you have to be that careful with, you can't expect someone else to. Because obviously, if a person is blatantly wasting your time, if they're blatantly asking you for money and wasting your bank account, it doesn't mean you can't help people. It doesn't mean you can't spend a couple extra minutes with someone. But at the same time, you have to be cautious of that. Because I think, I don't know for sure if I'm going to completely say it. Now, Tony says, hey, hush, hush, because it's a part of our masterclass. But it's the whole breakdown of, I believe right now it's 720 seconds or 720 minutes that we have in a month, right? That's what the average time is that a person could spend with someone, or 720 minutes or something like that. Now the masterclass for S&M Elevation, Spirit and Mind Elevation, has more of that breakdown, but we only have 730 I think it's 730 hours. Okay, so I was wrong about that. 720 hours we spend in 12 months if we spent 2 hours each day or something, broken down or something, with a new person that came into our lives. But we only have 730 hours per month to live for 12 months. 730 times 12, you get it, get your calculator. But at the same time, think about that. 720 hours for 1 year for one person. So regardless if that's a family member, a friend, or significant other, if you break down 727, 27, 27, 20, and you're going for the whole 12 months and there's different people in your life that these are happening with that you're not careful about, that's almost 6 months out of your life. 182 point something days out of your life that's spent on trying to make sure you are floating with the right ones that you have to sift through and go through. Now, if you spent that 720 hours even once to yourself for that month, through the 12 months, you gave that much more back to yourself. And therefore, in return, you can give more to others. When the investment becomes more to put it into someone else that is not very aware of what you have to invest because they're only selfishly looking out for themselves, you have to be meticulous and understanding what is going on, right? Be the investigator in your mind. The truth is, don't be so heavily invested that you are not being aware of the own carefulness that you're not dealing with yourself. And that's what it comes down to. Like, you have to be able to be aware of who you're spending your life source and enrichment with at all times. I believe there's a quote, I know that I saw it on one of the feeds going on, and it said, be connected to everything and attached to nothing. That was profound. I mean, it got me off my chair, okay? I'm just saying, be connected to everything and attached to nothing. But when I say hashtag be careful, that's exactly what it is. Be careful. Because what you don't know will hurt you. And what someone else doesn't know can still hurt you and hurt them. That's how I feel about the whole situation itself. Now, I've got a lot of clarity on those. I understand why, from how I articulated it and manifested and manipulated it to what it should be, from the aspect of taking a negative from a positive and never seeing it as a negative, but a positive. The only thing I could say is, yeah, that was some time I could have had extra in this life. But it taught me what the lesson was for. See, now, as long as you're getting the lesson out of it and surviving it without going to the point of where you shouldn't have went too far, it's still a win-win situation either way. But it's those who completely go blindlessly into that and just completely set themselves up for failure for situations that never should have been had off of the hashtag be careful intuition that was given to you before. And most times when you feel that real deep hashtag be careful, is either trying to save your life because you have more of a purpose to do on your life. And the lightweight ones that are kind of there where it irritates you enough but it still goes away are more for, I believe in the timing of things, the arrival of things. Because if we're not making room for what's about to come or be, then what are we doing? We're literally deterring and creating a whole nother path for something else that was never meant to be, and attracting more of that garbage, I'm just saying, in its own retrospect, down our path that we don't even want. Okay? Let's be clear here. Familians, RDDC. But at the same time, with that being said, we're also redirecting what goodness is there. If a person's waiting on a loan to come for some bank, whatever it is, to go on their next big business or to save their home or be on the grind and make this happen or put into their invention or be there for their kids' first steps or be there to make sure you're there when a loved one needs some soup and a blanket, whatever it is, don't let it take time from the things that you're meant to do. So I'm going to leave you with that piece on understanding what's going on. That's hashtag be careful. Be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. Yes, a boom. Be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. And people say, well, that's good. I wish for $1 million. Well, did you wish to understand the steps that it took to acquire the $1 million? Were you careful of understanding how you took the journey to maybe get $10 million from that $1 million? Or what it's going to take to keep yourself at a level to where you feel like $1 million? Oh, well, Lex, be careful what I wish for. I got the perfect partner. Okay, well, that comes along with being there for their ups and downs and the things that that partner might want and desire from that. That might take along with the path and the plans that you had. Are you putting that in a non-entanglement situation? No shade, Jada. You understand where I'm getting at. I'm just saying, let's be real. Let's be clear here. Yeah, I mean, and I will say more on the snippet before we end this, to a wonderful understanding, is that when I looked at all the things happening with it, I wasn't giving myself the carefulness that it took with it. I was getting so delved in using it. And I believe if you want to check it out, I don't know, what the print form, I know there's thrift books, different ones out there. And I'd be free downloads on the internet. I'm not sure at this point, but this is not my endorsement, but it's something that I got a chance to read on my journey in California that helped tremendously as well. And it's Think Rich, Grow Rich with Napoleon Hill. It was The Art of Sexual Transmutation. And I say it again, sexual transmutation. And I'm like, wait a minute, what is this in the book? Excuse me, let's stop. And then I'm like, oh, okay. All right. And then it's basically using something or someone as your muse. And when you go in blindlessly at first, before you're starting really having an awakening or your, perennial glands or your third eye, whatever they want to say, feels shooken up enough to wait, like the intuition inhabitant. That's different because I was born with a whole, ingrained thing of my spiritual levels. So some people might have it lighter, some people might have it deeper. But when you start looking at the sexual transmutation, I was thinking, oh man, it's your muse. When people say it's my muse, it's my inspiration. It keeps me going. I know I should be cautious and careful. Okay, come on, Lex. Can I just live a little bit? Yes, you can. But that's what I've tried basically internalizing. I'm using it as my muse, my sexual transmutation, my inspiration, the feeling of the embodiment. But I'm fully aware of what comes along with that. Okay. And then I know how to break off from it and not get too deep in it. And especially if the signs are way too clear. Now, it might seem like I'm going to go all the way down the rabbit hole, but I assure you, Alice will not meet me in Wonderland. Okay. I'm just saying, if it comes down to me or them or it's not going to happen. Now, I'm free-handing the mic. So please, if you hear any in and outs, I apologize about that, but I don't like to stay stiff when I'm trying to give you what is in me to give you. At the end of the day, in the beginning of the day, there's always more to obtain. There's always more to have. And there's always more coming your way, but you have to know what to be careful of. Sometimes we're blindsided. We don't see it coming. Sometimes it's too close and so far up under us that we don't really realize the magnitude of the things that are taking place. But eventually, after so many trials and errors we are aware to a certain point. So let's not live life with our blinders on. Let's not pretend that if we put a cake in the oven and we throw Twizzlers in it and some random, grass from outside and dirt and mud and some, whatever, that it's not going to turn out kind of, it doesn't taste like the red velvet recipe we put together. Let's not pretend. If you want to go for that kind of thing, fine. But at the end of the day, it's the same thing. When we know, we could go like Angela, no shade. I love you, Angie. But Angela, but if she wants to eat, a whole gallon of ice cream, hey, that's on her. But at the same time, I love her, but be careful because you know what's going to happen. You're going to get super ill, super sick. Then you're going to be complaining about what it's doing to your body, what it's not helping your body with, and what's happened, from overall stuff, just period. That's what I say. Anything in excessiveness is nuts. The only thing I can say is make sure you keep your connectivity with all that is in the creation circle. The creator of all things is the only magnitude of understanding that we'll ever have. So you don't have to be careful when you're connected to all that is that created you. You don't have to be careful in the sense of defending yourself or watching out for a curveball. The only curveball that you can watch out for is elevating, awakening. Having your eyes truly wide open. Being able to feel the love beyond a human love could ever give. Knowing that you'll never be let down or betrayed. Understanding that you're connecting with the healing that's going to be taking your spirit in once the flesh is gone. That's the only security that we have in love. The only security we could ever ask for. The only freedom that we're allotted. And that's so abundant. That's never going to fail us. Never going to be a price tag upon it because it's been paid 10 times over. Is the love of the Great Spirit. The understanding of the Creator and the amounted just whole threshold of all that is. The electricity running through your body. The reason why the blood goes through your veins and your heart beats. You never have to be careful of those things because it's always trying to be careful for you. It's the intuition within us. It's the elevation of all that is, i.e. spirit and mind elevation is what it is. I can try to chop up a million kind of understanding of great things we have rolled out with books and courses and so much more. A lot of it free, a lot of things that you have to be willing to invest in all the way and go all the way in with what you want to do with you. All the one-on-ones in the world are not going to connect you to what you may be looking for upon this earth because you'll never find it. The only way you can find it is from within and from the connection within that is within you. So I just want to put that out there. Yes, facts. Hashtag yes. For many of you, you'll hear this and go, yeah, I got what you mean, Lex. I got you completely. And some of you will say, phooey. It's whatever. YOLO. You only live once. Well, that's the point. You only live once, and to the understanding of where you are right now to actually play it. Because the next hemisphere apparatus or where you go, probably say they're not going to have an MP3 or a download or something like that. I'm just saying. There's only going to be one platform in this universe right now to where we are to be in this realm. So yeah, hashtag be careful. Understand where you are, what's going on, and don't entertain BS. Be careful of all the Bologna. That's my down south southern friends. He won't say baloney, he'll say Bologna. That's out there because you don't know what that is. It could be a trap. It could be the energy from the opposite spectrum, ending your time before it's known, stopping the flow. There's always something that's trying to stop you from doing better, whether it be yourself or the energy that's permeating around you and the unconscious sense of negativity. Of the conscious sense of negativity. And there's always something to keep you away from it. And sometimes we do it to ourselves. We're not careful of ourselves. So sometimes it's not an outside operation, it's an inside operation. Like I said in the beginning, be careful of your thoughts. Be careful of the things that are happening with it. Because thoughts become things. And that's the whole understanding. And we're about 70% water as adults. 90% is babies and children. Or at least babies, I believe. And if you haven't seen that book, The Hidden Messages of Water, and I want to say it by Isoro Imoto. I can't say his name. I just say it like that. Maybe it's my Colombiana flair. I don't know, but it does come from that. The water has hidden messages. And I believe in some facets that the purest water that's still found in the aspects of what we can't get to, right, by design in some way. And I'll put that on there, the next one. Is basically the blood life. We can't live without water. Food comes in later, but water, look at the significance of that. Think and be careful and mindful of that. Keep a balance in your life and keep yourself balanced. Remember, it is always an inside job, because once you start structuring yourself enough to have the inside job articulated and put together for you, you don't have to worry so much about being on that extra careful. You just, you have to look over your shoulder sometime. You have to look both ways before you cross the street. And one of the gentlemen I know said, I have to look both ways before I cross the street, or people need to look both ways before they cross me. And I said, I really like that, because you have to look both ways. You look one way, a car could be not in the way, and you just turn around and whoa, boom, there goes a car sitting there just whacking you. Or it could be stopping dead at tracks. You have to look both ways before you cross the street, because you have to be careful. And even when you don't see anything coming, just remember, sometimes the enemy doesn't let you see anything that's coming. It just happens right in the middle of the road. So just like I said, hashtag be careful. This is your girl, Lexus T, coming at you again with love, harmony, peace, blessings, and light. Remember to be the change, feel the passion, embrace the power of that wonderful spirit. You can help now with different things going on with our donation coaching, and that's at realdoubledosechannel.com, and the link should be there and some of the info going on, and we'll have a rollout of what's going on with that and some of the people from inside those walls and those who are still outside those walls, stuck within walls of their minds going on. If you want to sign up for some one-on-ones with me, and all of those who are signed up with me already, thank you. I love you tremendously. We love you. And don't forget, we will have that rolling out and the links available at realdoubledosechannel.blogspot.com, realdoubledosechannel.com, so we can roll out even with more goodies from the Spirit of Mind Elevation.com. So we'll have all that ready for you. Wonderful, wonderful free apparel, gifts, mocktails, cocktails, and so much more. So yeah, be the change, feel the passion, embrace the power of that wonderful spirit. Check us out anytime you need to and be free. Hashtag be careful. And just remember that life is about you and making it happen. So we'll talk to you soon, and I can't wait for more.